Good morning, children. This is your third lesson, that is Gopal and the Hilsafish. It's a comic illustrated story. It's very interesting to read. First of all, you have to do the reading of the entire textbook. It is very interesting to read because it is already, I told you, an illustrated story, a comic story. Read it and come back and watch this video. And after that, the entire exercise session we will discuss in this video, and you have to write down in your book. And after that, one picture reading session is included in the textbook. I have explained everything. What you have to do is you have to write your own story in your own sentences. Take the outline that I give there only for guiding you. What you have to do is you use your imagination and write the story in your own words. Let us go to the video. Your third lesson, Gopal and the Hilsafish. Before you read, have you ever read a comic book? A comic book contains stories told mainly through pictures. So this Gopal and the Hilsafish is a comic book. The story is told with the help of pictures. Look at this one. It was the season for Hilsafish. Fishermen could think of nothing but Hilsafish. So it was the season of Hilsafish there. Everyone talking about Hilsafish. Fishmongers sold nothing but Hilsafish. Fishmongers here means dealers. The fish dealers sold nothing but the Hilsafish. Come, buy. The price of Hilsa is down today. The fish dealer calling out for the people to come and buy his Hilsafish. Householders could talk of nothing but Hilsafish. Householders here means the laymen, the common people around there. They could talk of Hilsafish and nothing else. Look at the lady asking this man, "How much did you pay for this Hilsa?" Then the man replied, "You wouldn't believe it if I told you." Come to the next page. And in the palace too, the courtiers could discuss nothing but Hilsafish. Not only in the countryside, even in the palace, the courtiers could discuss nothing but Hilsafish. "Your Majesty, you should have seen the huge Hilsa I caught." It was a courtier wanted to explain the fish that he had bought the previous day to the king. "Stop it! Are you a courtier or a fisherman?" But the king became furious. He stopped the courtier, asking him, "Are you a courtier or a fisherman?" Because everywhere he could hear only about the Hilsafish. So he stopped him. The courtier fell silent with downcast eyes. The king felt guilty. In his anger, the king stopped the courtier. Immediately, the courtier fell silent and downcast his eyes with humiliation. The king also felt guilty in his shoutings. The king said, "I am sorry, I lost my temper. It is the season for Hilsafish and no one Then immediately the king came back to his normal, cool mood and apologized for what he said a little earlier. Not even Gopal can stop anyone from talking about Hilsafish. Not even for 5 minutes. Then he turned to one very Tenali Raman like person, that is Gopal. Not even Gopal can stop anyone from talking about Hilsafish. Not even for 5 minutes. Oh, I think I could, Your Majesty. But Gopal took it as a challenge and he retorted. He replied the king that I think I could, Your Majesty. He told him that he could. He could make people not talking about Hilsafish. Look at the next one. Then let me see you buy a huge Hilsa and bring it to the palace without anyone asking you a word about it. Then the king put forward a challenge before this Gopal. The challenge was Gopal could buy a huge Hilsafish and he had to bring the Hilsafish to the palace. In between, no one could ask anything about the Hilsa. That was the challenge the king put forward before Gopal. Look at Gopal's reply. I accept the challenge, Your Majesty. He happily accepted the challenge. His challenge was he had to buy a Hilsafish and brought to the palace. And nobody could ask anything about this Hilsafish. He agreed the challenge. Go to the next page. A few days later, why is your face half shaven? This is Gopal. His wife is asking him, why is your face half shaven? Gopal's reply, I am dressing up to buy a fish. He told her that he was readying himself to go and buy a fish, a Hilsafish. But his wife became furious. What is the matter with you? Why are you smearing yourself with ash? Gopal's wife thought that he was gone mad. So she asked him, what is the matter with you? Why are you smearing yourself with ash? Smearing here means spreading. That he was spreading, he was smearing this ash on his face. Then Gopal repeated his answer. I told you I am dressing up to buy a Hilsafish. Yes, I am going to buy a Hilsafish, he told his wife again. Listen to me, please. You can't possibly go out in those disgraceful rags. What are you up to? So this disgraceful rags means that torn clothes, and that is even disgraceful, not suitable to his dignity, low dignity. Low dignity dress. His wife tried to stop him from going that way. How many times I must tell you, woman, I am out to buy a huge Hilsafish. But he again repeated his answer. Don't stop me, because I am going out to buy a huge Hilsafish. It's happened to him. He's gone mad. But his wife thought it happened with him, that he has gone mad. Gopal bought the Hilsafish and started walking towards the palace. He went to the market and bought a huge Hilsafish and went back to his journey to the palace. Mother, look at that man. Isn't he comical? When Gopal was seen at the market, one child asked his mother. He was looking so comic because he was on his rags. One side of his face was shaven and the other side was he smeared with ash. So everyone looked at the stature of Gopal, but nobody noticed he had a Hilsa in his hand. He must be a madman. Somebody commented, "Hush, I think he is a mystic." Somebody thought he might be a mystic. A mystic here means a man with some kind of mysteries, some kind of secrets he has hiding. Somebody commented. When Gopal reached the court, look at the scene just in front of the palace. What do you want? They couldn't recognize that this man was Gopal. What do you want? I want to see the king. Gopal replied to the gateman there. He wanted to see the king. You can't see the king. Get away with you. King's men told him he couldn't see the king and told him to get away from there. Gopal began to dance and sing loudly. Immediately he took another plate of his tricks and he started singing and dancing there loudly. Finally, inside the palace, the man is crazy. Throw him out at once. I want to see the king. Let me in. The king could hear all these conversations that was going on just outside the palace. The king heard all this. The king ordered, "Bring that man to me at once." This was a royal decree, a royal order, the king's order. The courtier said, "Yes, your majesty." Then he went out. Look at this. Gopal was brought before the king. Gopal was finally brought before the king. Someone in the court recognized him. It's Gopal. The man has lost his mind. Somebody with a sense of humor commented, Gopal has lost his sense. Gopal has lost his mind. I think it is one of his crazy jokes. But an old man in the court thought it was his another crazy joke. All right, Gopal, out with it. Why are you dressed up in this ridiculous fashion? Okay, you came before me. Why are you in such a ridiculous fashion? The king asked Gopal. Then Gopal replied, Your Majesty, you seem to have forgotten something. Gopal said, the king might have forgotten about the challenge that he put forward to Gopal. Forgotten something? The king doubted. Then Gopal said, Strangely enough, no one seems to be interested in Hilsafish today. It was the strange thing happened. Nobody interested in The Hilsafish he was bringing there. From the market to the palace and in the court, not a soul has spoken a word about Hilsafish. Soul means not a person. Nobody talked, nobody asked him about the Hilsafish. Everyone talked about his appearance, his stature. Nobody talked about the Hilsafish. That was the bet, that was the challenge the king put forward before Gopal. Only then did the king remember the challenge he had thrown to Gopal. When Gopal reminded the king about this challenge, then only the king understood it. Then he began to laugh. Ha ha! Well, Gopal, congratulations! You have achieved the impossible once again. He really congratulated Gopal for his great achievement. What he took as the challenge, he completed. He accomplished it with a great success. So the king was so happy. Thus the king gave him prizes and words of praising. Now let us go to the working with the text. Now working with the text. Answer the following questions. First question, why did the king want no more talk about the Hilsafish? Because the king was fed up with everyone talking about only Hilsafish. He was in an infurious mood. So he wanted no more talk about the Hilsafish. Look at the second question. What did the king ask Gopal to do to prove that he was clever? Gopal was asked to bring a Hilsafish to the court without anyone asking him about the Hilsafish. Question number 3. What 3 things did Gopal do before he went to buy his Hilsafish? First, he half shaved his face and smeared ashes over his face and body. Then he put on his rags and went to the market. Fourth question, how did Gopal get inside the palace to see the king after he had bought the fish? The courtiers did not allow him to enter the palace. Then what he did was he started singing and dancing there. And when the king heard about it, he summoned him. Look at the fifth question. Explain why no one seemed to be interested in talking about the Hilsafish which Gopal had bought. Because Gopal went to the market in a very strange looking way. His appearance, that was the main attraction of the crowd. They couldn't notice the Hilsafish that he was carrying with him. So to change the attraction of the people, to change the attraction of the crowd, he dressed himself as so strange. So everyone attracted in his appearance and they forgot about talking about the Hilsafish. Look at the sixth. Write true or false against each of the following sentences. The king lost his temper easily. Yes, it is true. Gopal was a madman. False. Gopal was a clever man. True. Gopal was too poor to afford decent clothes. False. The king got angry when he was shown to be wrong. Was the king angry? Got angry? No, it's false. Working with language. Notice how in a comic book there are no speech marks when characters talk. Instead, what they say is put in a speech bubble. This kind of speech bubble they put in. However, if we wish to repeat or report what they say, we must put it into a reported speech. Now let us study a little bit about reported speech. Change the following sentences in the story to reported speech. The first one has been done for you. Look at the first sentence. How much did you pay for that Hilsa? That was one of the dialogues from the story. The household woman asking a man, how much did you pay for that Hilsa? The woman asked the man how much he had paid for that. Second question, why is your face half shaven? Gopal's wife asked him why his face was half shaven. Why his face was half shaven? Look at the third question. I accepted the challenge, Your Majesty. When we report this sentence, Gopal told the king that he accepted the challenge. Gopal told the king that he accepted the challenge. Here it is in present simple, we have to report in past simple. That is the only change. And I is changed to he. Look at the fourth one. I want to see the king. Gopal told the guards that he wanted to see the king is the answer. Gopal told the guards that he wanted to see the king. Come to the fifth question. Bring the man to me at once. The king ordered the guard to bring the man to him at once. This was the order. The king gave to the guard to bring the man to him at once. Now look at the next question. Find out the meaning of the following words by looking them up in the dictionary. Then use them in sentences of your own. Challenge, mystic, comical, courtier, and smearing. Challenge means a call to take part in a competition. That is challenge. My friend Arun yesterday challenged me for a chess competition. Mystic. Mystic means very secretive, or you can say occult. That is also a kind of secret. Mystic. Example, you can say that the police inquired the curse mystically. The police inquired the cause mystically. Comical here means funny. Children are so much interested in comical books. You can say like that. Courtier. Courtier means an attendant. Attendant in a king's court, in a court, as an advisor or a companion, or a companion to the king or the queen. That is a courtier. Our early kings had a lot of courtiers in their palaces. You can say like that. Smearing means spreading or coating. The little child smeared his face with talcum powder. Like that you can make sentences. Now go to the next page. Picture reading. Look at the pictures and read the text aloud. This is the picture of a stag, and this is known as antlers. Stag by the side of a pond. It can see its reflection in the pond. It says, "How beautiful my horns are." Horns here means the antlers. Look at the next picture. "But my legs are so thin and ugly." But the stag doesn't like his thin legs. He was so much proud of his antlers or horns, but he doesn't like his ugly and thin legs. "Hunters, run for your life." It was at this time the stag noticed a few hunters behind it. It started running. "Let me hide somewhere." Immediately he thought to hide somewhere in the bush. These branches, oh no. When the stag entered the bushes, its antlers tangled with the branches of the tree. Then he said, "These branches, oh no. They are too close. Get out of here." Immediately he planned. It was not safe standing there. Get out of that place and run away. "I was proud of my horns. They could have caused my death. I was ashamed of my legs. They saved me." When the stag escaped from the hunters, he realized the importance of the ugly and thin legs. It helped the stag to save his life. But at the same time, the beautiful antlers could have caused his own death. That is the story. Now let us go to the question session. Now ask your partner questions about each picture. Where is the stag? The stag is by the pond. What is he doing? He was appreciating his own antlers at the pond water's reflection. Does he like his antlers, horns? Yes. The stag was so proud of its antlers. Does he like his legs? No. He doesn't like his thin, ugly legs. Why is the stag running? Because he noticed some hunters coming behind it with guns. Is he able to hide in the bushes? No. He couldn't hide in the bushes because his antlers that tangled with the branches of the trees there. Question number 7. Where are the hunters now? The hunters are very close to the stag. Are they closing in on the stag? Yes, they are running behind the stag. Is the stag free? Yes, finally the stag got free using his legs. Question number 10. What does the stag say about his horns and his legs? Finally, he realized that his horns, his beautiful horns, he was so proud of it. It could have caused his death. But once he was so uncertain, he was so ashamed of his thin, ugly legs. But those helped him to run fast and saved his life. That is what the stag says about his antlers and legs. Now write the story in your own words, give it a title. Now you have to narrate the story. Once there was a beautiful stag. His name was so and so. He was just came by the side of a beautiful pond. The water in the pond looked like a mirror. So when the stag went near it, it saw its reflection there. He really felt proud of watching his antlers, but at the same time he couldn't appreciate his thin, ugly legs. It was at this time he saw a few hunters approaching there with weapons. So what he did, he started running away from there, and on the way he wanted to hide in the bushes. But his antlers that tangled with the branches of the tree, and he could think he would be caught by the hunters. So he got out of the bushes and again started running fast, and finally he saved his life. And once he saved his life, he realized the importance of his legs. He thought they were ugly and thin, but now he realized that because of those ugly thin legs, he could be in life now. Otherwise, he could have been killed by the hunters. So like that, you can write this story. Okay, that's it.